on Yeti.
All right. And on today's edition of Psalms and Proverbs, by the way, But for Your Grace was a request by one of you. Thank you so much for sending that in. We'll be looking at the book of Psalms, of course. Chapter 27. The whole chapter, it's 14 verses, but I'd like us to place our focus on verse 14. But basically, it starts by saying, The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked advance against me to devour me, it is my enemies and foes who will stumble and fall. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. For in the day of trouble he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon a rock. Now, actually, it goes on to say it's the same chapter that talks about, though my father and my mother forsake me, in verse 10. The Lord will receive me. Teach me your way, Lord, and lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. Do not turn me over to the desire of my foes, for false witnesses rise up against me, spouting malicious accusations. I will remain, or rather, I remain confident of this. Verse 13, highlight of today. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Now, I know it's usually much easier to say than, of course, to do. Sometimes it's very hard to trust. Especially when you cannot see ahead. You cannot really see what is God doing in this season. You cannot see what is coming ahead. You cannot see what am I going into, this decision I'm going to make, where is it going to take me. Of course, as human beings, having that, tendency of having control over everything really gives us sometimes a lot of anxiety, because we want to know what's coming next. And for me personally, I can really, really, really relate with this, because I remember the time I was just praying about something and I felt like, God, my prayers ni kama zinagonga roof. What is not happening? And he just led me to verse 14, saying, wait on the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait on the Lord. There's an emphasis right there, David, that anayandika marambile. The psalmist writes, wait on the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait on the Lord. And this is our encouragement to you this evening, even as we just reflect on how we can be aware of God's presence. It is that you need to understand that God knows your circumstance. He is not somewhere, in some oblivion, just looking at you, waiting for you to make mistakes or anything like that. He is aware of every single step that you are making, because he's the one who ordains the steps of the righteous. That is what his word says. And so I pray that you'll be able to trust God in all that you do. And even as the psalmist says, that even though war breaks out against me, the Lord surely will uphold him, as he is calling out to. And so I pray that we will be able to be reminded of this, that you will surely see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And this was not like I'm not sure, it's not like the psalmist said, I'm hoping to see, or I'm wishing to see, I desire. He was very sure it is, and I am sure of this, that I will see and experience the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. May this be your prayer this evening, that whatever circumstance you're going through, no matter what happens, in situations where you feel you are blinded, you are in darkness, be sure that the Lord is good. That is one thing. Be sure that he is good. And so if he is a good God, then surely he cannot make bad decisions. He cannot lead you to a trap. He's not like that. He's not like sometimes us human beings, where he's not sure. The Lord is sure of every one of our steps. And so my encouragement to you this evening, our dear listener, is that you will trust the Lord with all of your heart and wait on him. Do not be hasty to make any move if you're not sure. Be patient, because the Lord knows every opportunity. God is aware. And so I pray that this will be your encouragement, even as we go into the rest of the half of the week, that you'll remember to trust in him and in him alone. Amen and amen. That is from Psalms